So this video is about getting your Merchant Mariner Credential, your MMC. There's a lot of videos out there, there's a lot of information. I just know when I was looking, I was absorbing everything I could to do it correctly. And some of the videos that I found were kind of long and drawn out. So this is my attempt to kind of boil it down a little bit. The first thing that you really want to do is search up MMC, Merchant Mariner Credential, look for the National Maritime Center. That's where you'll find all the forms you're going to need, checklists, things for your REC, your Regional Exam Center. That's where you'll send everything. They're all, for example, like if I was in Texas at the time, so my closest REC was in Houston. That's where I had to go do my interviews and all those kinds of things, where I sent my packet, which I'll go to later. I have some notes so I don't really forget anything. So before you get your Merchant Mariner Credential, you're going to want to get some things prior to that, right? Though technically you don't need a passport to get your credentials, it's highly recommended. Without a passport, it's going to severely limit the jobs that you're able to take and ship. I mean, if you don't have a passport, you can't leave the country, right? So definitely get your passport. You're also going to need a TWIC, Transportation Workers Identification Credential. If you search TWIC, TWIC, it'll pull up where to get it. The company's called Identigo or something like that. You have to schedule a time for there. They'll fingerprint you, take your picture, all that good stuff, issue one. I'll go over costs about everything and probably in another video, but it's not that expensive. It's the same place where you go to get like TSA pre-check, that kind of stuff. So you'll need that. You also need your other, and for that, and for your passport, you're going to need your identification for your citizenship, whether that's a green card or a social security card, birth certificate, all these things to prove your identity, right? Now, once you get that, and you can start getting the forms off the National Maritime Center webpage, there's the overall application, right? So it's the CG Coast Guard 719K. So that kind of, you put in who you are, all this information, your address. Now, only there are other things that you can add to that, right? So, for example, I got the little sheet here, food handler statement, right? So I was in the restaurant industry for 15 years. I have a manager food handler certificate. So I sent that in with my packet. If you have medications that you take, you have to send in that documentation for that. So you have to do that kind of stuff. And now all that is kind of for your medical certificate that you'll get when you apply for your Merchant Mariner Credential. It'll come to you. You have to have all that. Other things that you might need, right? So there's you have to take an oath. It's on the page. You print it off, take it to a notary. I went to FedEx or UPS or something. Cost a few bucks. They stamp it, they sign it, you're good to go. Other things you might have to have is a conviction statement, right? So if you've ever anything, whether it's I don't think they need things like speeding tickets, stuff like that. But if you've ever gone to court, you'll want to put that in there, where it was, what happened, and what the outcome was. These things won't really disqualify you from getting your credentials, but you do want to put that in there. Some things that might delay your credentials are like if you had a drug offense or a DUI. Those things could potentially delay your credentials. If you don't put it on there, you're absolutely going to get delayed. They're going to find out about it. But what you do want to do is put that on there. If it was last year, they're going to delay your credential. You're going to have to prove that you've succeeded your program. It's not going to be an issue, right? If it was 10 years ago, put it on there, shouldn't be an issue. If you look on the website, there'll be a list of any potential convictions or this kind of thing. It'll tell you how long you might have to wait. Usually, if it's recent, like say you had something in the last 4 or 5 years, they might make you wait a year and then reapply. So that's kind of a case-by-case basis. Other things you might have to fill out is if you had prior military service. There's a form for that. You have to put in your discharge papers, send all that in. Let's see what else I got on here. Other thing you have to get is you have to get a physical, Coast Guard physical. There's a form, obviously. You download that, call around. If the place you're calling doesn't know what you're talking about, they probably can't do the Coast Guard physical. It's a specific type of physical. You want to make sure you get the right one. Same thing with the drug test. You have to have a drug test. There's a form you take, and different places will charge you different things. Same thing with the physical, right? So depending on when you're applying, because it has to be within a certain amount of time, right? So I think it's within 30 days. I know your Coast Guard physical is good for 6 months, but I think to get your actual Merchant Mariner credential, it has to be within the last 30 days. It might be within the last 6 months. I don't really remember on that. Now, once you get all that, then you got to compile that into files to send to that regional exam center. What they'll do is, so they have a whole list of things that you can and can't do. They have to be, no file can be over 8 megabytes, or the email can't be over 8 megs. And then you have to put in, your name, your either your social, or once you get it, your Merchant Mariner number. You have to send in the receipt with that packet that you've paid. So you have to pay for your Merchant Mariner credential fee before you send in the packet. So there's a website you go, you'll pay for it, they'll get it, they'll send you a receipt, and you put that with it. When I sent my Mariner credential in, there's an option you can send in a return address shipping form. So you don't have to do that. They'll send it to you via snail mail, no problem. It'll just take a little longer. I went to FedEx, paid for an overnight shipping label, sent that in with them. That way I could get it as quick as possible. I think that's pretty much it as far as what you need to get. If you go onto the National Maritime Center webpage, they have a handy dandy little, hold it up here, little page here, right? I got my regional exam center information at the bottom, phone number and email. But it's got the steps you need, right? So your TWIC, your forms, and all that. Now, when you send that in, they're going to go over it and look at, your security clearances and this kind of thing. Make sure you listed all your other stuff. Criminal, that kind of thing. The other thing that you probably want to do, you can do it afterwards and put that in your book, but if you can knock this out previous, it's even better, right? So you have to have a SCTW course. It stands for Standards of Training Certification and Watchkeeping. Now, they're like 5-day courses. You can find them, $700, $800, $900. Depending on the route you go, some programs will include that, right? So if you're going into an unlicensed apprenticeship program, they'll include that in the program. So you kind of have to think about what your goal is, and how you're going to approach this before you do these things. Now I'll go over some fees in another video because this is running a little long, and the whole point of this was kind of trying to narrow it down. But if you have any questions, let me know. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. When you send those in, they have to be PDFs, scanned, no email bigger than 8 megabytes. You can send them 1, 2, 3 emails. I think I just send it in 2. But that's pretty much it. You know, make sure you have your physical, your drug test, application, your birth certificate, your TWIC, your passport, your, you know, anything else you might have, you know, your military service, your conviction statement, know what you're putting on there, know what you're applying for. You know, if you're going through an unlicensed apprenticeship program, like, for example, myself, you got to apply for the correct endorsements. You can't apply for a 1,600-ton tug license if you don't have the certifications for it, right? You know, if you're going to a UA program, I want you to apply for your food handlers, your OS, and your wiper. Ordinary seaman, which is the deckhand side, wiper, which is the engine side, and food handler is steward, is the steward department, cooks, that kind of thing. I hope that helps. If there's any questions you have, send me a message, drop it below, and I'll do my best to answer it.